Hello, welcome back. So today we're going to have a look at machine drum and the mega command box and the LFO page. So LFO in the mega command works in a kind of a, I would say, specific way. I tried to consult some of the members of the Electronauts forum, and they just say it's like a special way it works, and it's just like that. And it's a bit different from what you would normally expect from the LFO, but it's still quite nice, and I can think of a lot of useful applications of that specific LFO here. Okay, so let's go to the LFO page. Where is it? Okay, so that's this one. A couple of things that we need to remember first. Okay, so I think we can browse the parameters. How was it? Okay, right, okay. So we've got 3 pages for LFO. LFO modulation. So we've got wave, speed, depth, and depth 1 and depth 2. Then I have destination, and then we've got offset. I don't quite understand this offset setting, but it will maybe come a bit more clear when we actually start playing with this. LFO is activated with pressing yes, and then deactivated with pressing yes again. And there are 3 types of LFO. So free, so that's basically oscillating forever. Then you've got something that is triggered by trigs. So the phase of the LFO cycle is reset to the beginning with every trig. Yeah, okay. And the third is one shot. So basically it will just start at the beginning, and then one cycle will go, and then it just stops, okay? Right. Okay, so you know what? I've got this sound here. This one, okay. Maybe let's change the length of it a bit. What is it? Just a simple saw wave, I guess. So let's just create a pattern, and let's put this here and maybe here. Right. Okay. So now we'll be able to see how the LFO is actually changing this little sound, the sound of this saw wave. Okay. Right. So first of all, I will go to the destination page. And we've got 2 destinations here, 1 and 2, and then parameters. Normally, I would go like, okay, so the destination first. So the first is because this LFO will be, with this LFO, we will be able to modulate 2 parameters at the same time. So for track 1, I will have pitch 1. So this will be modulated by the LFO, but I can do something else. I can actually reset that and then set parameter to learn, L-E-R, so that's learn. And then by moving whatever parameter I want to modulate with this LFO, by moving this knob here, for example, for pitch, you know, there's some kind of a MIDI learn functionality, yeah? So MCL that knows, okay, so I have assigned the destination track 1, pitch 1 to the LFO that is going to be activated in a minute. So let's go back to page with, see, the offset is kind of, you know, this offset here. It is kind of matching the current position of this pitch parameter. So maybe it's some kind of a balancer, or you know, it's like positioning the parameter like in the middle for the wave to go, for the wave to be able to go down and up around the middle of this offset point. But I'm not sure about that. It could be something connected with that, but I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go back to, so let's go back to this page now. So I will have a depth here. No, I will just, this is now like set to 0. I will just activate this LFO, okay? And then I will play the sequence. Already something happened. So you can see the offset, and this pitch is high. Let's set this here to 64. The offset has changed. Okay, right, so this is kind of a corresponding, you know, here. And then let's start with this depth. Right. And the funny thing with the LFO that is provided by this mega command is that the speed is now set to minimal. But if I increase the speed, the LFO is actually starting to slow down. And you can have super slow LFO, super slow. Kind of steppy as it goes, you know, downward. Can I just stop it maybe, even? It's still going down, but in a very slow way. So for some applications, like for example, I would say ambience sound, when you have one sound spread over 16/4 steps, for example, then the very slow morphing of your sound could be quite useful, yeah? But I'm just kind of maybe a little bit disappointed that I cannot have like faster LFO, basically. The other thing that I can have here is that, let's say if I have this wave, okay, so go here to this one, sorry, this one, right? So we have this sequence being played. So now I've got the speed. I think the full cycle is, what is it, 118, yeah? So now the full cycle is from here to here, so that's 8 steps. What is the speed now? Let's see. Alright, not this one. So, okay. So the speed of that is 2. Okay. So if I set it to 0, it's quite the same. Yeah, 3. It seems that the full cycle is now spread over 16 steps. So going up and going down, going up and going down. If I set it back to 0, so it goes like and then up. So up and down, up and down. So now this cycle of the LFO is spread over 8 steps. Okay. Let's go to parameter page and then maybe try to set this to learn and then maybe try to modulate maybe this parameter, okay? Or maybe filter, let's see. Okay, so I'll just move the filter here. So if I set this to learn, okay, by moving this filter knob, MCL will catch that. And basically there will be another parameter modulated by this oscillating LFO, okay? Alright. I think we need to... I'm not sure if actually this filter is working here on this track 1. Normally, you would expect, you know, this behavior, yeah? I'm not sure if this is working, to be honest. Ah, I know why. Of course it isn't working. Because the depth of the LFO is set to 0. Now you can see how the LFO is starting to modulate the frequency, yeah? Right. Right. If I now set the speed, oh sorry, if I now set the speed to... Right, okay, nice. Yeah, but I need this faster cycling speed. Right, okay. So now, one more thing that I would like to show you today is the fact that we've got 3 types of LFOs. So the first one is free, so it's just cycling forever, as I said. Then this one is trig the phase of the cycle of this LFO is reset every time the trigger goes here. So every time the sequencer goes into this trig, or so the trig is on the sequencer's track, basically the cycle of the LFO is reset to the very beginning, right? Okay. So if I have this fired on, the sound is fired on 1 and 9, yeah, I can do this, for example. So it kind of simulates, you know, these steps. They like kind of simulate how, as if the sound was triggered again, but it's not. It's just some modulating of the pitch and the filter, yeah? Okay, and then we've got another one, which is one shot. So what happens here? Right, okay. So it seems what we have now, this is fired once. So it goes, and then nothing happens, and then goes up, goes down, nothing happens, yeah? So because the speed is set to, I think at 8 steps, is it? Yes. So then, basically, it will just go up and down, and then it will stop working, yeah? But if I change the speed to 3, then it should be... The cycle is now extended onto 16 steps, yeah? And then back to normal. So it goes up, and then nothing happens, yeah? I can put this one shot here. Yes, okay. So it tries to, so it goes like once, then it's kind of stops modulating, and then go up, down, and then here, yeah? So reset of the cycle of the LFO happens also on step 14. Right. Let's say we go back to trigger. For example, this, okay. Right. And then what I could do, yeah, let's have this configuration. What I could do is I could save this settings of the LFO into the Y grid. So what I will do is I will go back to grid, then change this grid into grid Y, and then go to track 15, which is probably this one, and then press function, enter, and then track 15 will save my LFO. Hopefully, is it? No, it's actually track 14, I believe, because this is for routing. No. So I will go again. This one, and then 14. Right. So LF means that the LFO settings is now set. So what I will do is I will go back to grid, go back to LFO. Where is it? Here. And then change it completely. For example, like that. Go back to grid, go back to grid Y, and then save it here. Okay. So now we've got like 2 different settings for our LFO, and we can basically, you know, fire them up whatever we want. So for example, let's say I want this one. Yes, and 14. So that's the first configuration, and then go back here, and then yes, and then 14. Right? And then what I could do is I could also, just like with some other slots, go here, change this to Q, I think. Which one was it? Yeah. Then press 14. Right. And then choose this one. And then 14. And then it should, see? It will change. The change is quite fast. I think it has something to do with the quantization here. Quantization, I think. Let's put this like this one. Okay, and then 14. And then load. 14, and then load 14. So what we have now, I think, yeah, is the sequence of different settings of LFO played one after another. So we've got this played now here, and then it's now here. This one, yeah, this one, and then going back to this one. Oh, sorry, we've got the simple also part of the queue. So sorry, not the simple, but the empty slot, yeah. So let's have this like that. So I will go here and just mark the two here, and then put them, yes, and then queue slots, and we will have just the mini sequence of these two. Should be two, yeah, is it? Yes. So we've got only now two queued slots with the settings of LFOs from track 14, and then this is grid Y. Okay. Yeah. So practical uses, plenty. I guess you can additionally add another layer of the modification of your sound. So even if you change, so you may change, for example, the obviously the slot with the track that is playing the same instrument, but with different LFOs, you will have different changes. So you have different material on sequencer, the same machine, but different LFOs also fired up from this Y grid, track 14, for additional control of how you can shape your sound. Super nice things. I actually love it a lot that, as you can see here in this example, your performance and mute sets, FX, LFO, routing, and even tempo, they can be saved individually to different slots in grid Y and then fired up either in a sequence or as a queue, or just basically manual triggering by your performing action when you basically are playing somewhere. So that gives you a lot of control over how your machine drum sounds. Super fun. Yes, so thanks for watching and see you next time.